I don't feel good.
Last night.
I'm just kind of sad. I just feel like I just lost something.
What's happening, babe?
You know what? Because you have.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Miami, Season 6, Episodes 14 and 15. Now, before you say anything, I am well aware that I have dropped the ball on Miami. Yes, Miami is having their best season yet. These ladies are understanding the assignment, but let me just tell you, it is really tough trying to review 4 Housewives franchises plus Married to Medicine and then have a real life on top of that, all right? And you guys know that I have been blessed to be booked and busy. So it's just a lot going on, and unfortunately Miami has gotten tossed by the wayside. And also, I think it's really tough having Miami come on after Beverly Hills. I just don't think that it works when you have 2 housewives on the same night. Let each franchise get their own night. And a lot of times my attention span is shot after Beverly Hills is off the air. I really just don't have the patience or the wherewithal to focus on Miami. Bravo was better off keeping Miami on Peacock. Now, we got that out the way. Let me give you a disclaimer right now. If you happen to be a Lisa fan, you might want to click off because I have nothing nice to say about her. Lisa has shown her entire ass this season, and it's a sad day when I no longer feel sorry for her and her situation. Lisa is acting like she is the only person who has ever gone through a divorce. Girl, the fact that we have Guerdy, who is dealing with a major health issue that's actually life or death, and you're here monopolizing each conversation to talk about you and how Lenny cheated on you and woe is me and I can't believe this is happening to me. Girl, it's not always about you. And Kiki needs to be full-time. Next season, she better have a full-time contract, a tagline, and a mojito in her hand, and an increase in her paycheck. Because Kiki is giving what the other girls were supposed to have gave, in the words of Rolling Ray. But y'all, we have a lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's just get right on into it because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up episode 14 with it being day 2 of the ladies in Mexico. So they're all getting ready. Nicole just arrived. She had to hop on a red eye, but she's there. So Julia comes into her room and she gives her the scoop about what happened the night before. She's like, oh yeah, we had this crazy dinner. We had these naked guys serving us. Nicole's like, what? And Julia says, yeah, girl. And that first dinner in episode 13 was very interesting. But anyhow, I digress. So now we cut to Marisol going into Alexia's room, and Alexia's getting ready, and Alexia says that the plans for today are they're going to this famous church in Mexico City. And I thought it was so funny because nobody was dressed for church. They all have these really sexy outfits on, boobs out. And I was like, y'all look amazing, but you guys do know that you're going to a church, right? So it has to be a bit more conservative. Now, as everybody's in the lobby waiting to get on the Sprinter vans to head to the church, we find out from Julia that she's a bit apprehensive. She says that she separated herself from religion 23 years ago when she lost her son. And we all know the story of what happened to Julia's son. He passed away when he was an infant. Now, Julia sharing that because of that happening, she's distanced herself from the church. She's not into it anymore. I could relate because I definitely took, I guess you could say, a step back when my dad passed away because it just didn't make any sense. It was like, here was a perfectly healthy man who was just the sweetest. He was just so kind, just had a heart of gold. And for him to just get cancer, he didn't smoke, he didn't drink, he took great care of himself, he still looked good. For him to be diagnosed with cancer and then pass away immediately after, it was very jarring. And I had a lot of anger, and I still do have a lot of anger about it, but there was a lot of anger there. And it was like, I really couldn't accept it. And people telling you, oh, well, you know, God has a plan and we don't understand that. And, you know, you hear all these things, you know, growing up in church and being a Christian. And I couldn't accept it. And I definitely did take a step back. I mean, I even talked about it in the video that I did about losing my dad, right? And not to get too deep into it because it's really nobody's business. But yes, I still do have a relationship with God, but I feel like it's still not the same because of what happened. But I could definitely relate to Julia and her anger and her sadness about what happened to her son and why she doesn't feel as close or connected to religion because of what happened. It's understandable. So they're on their way to this historic church, and mind you, everybody's there except for Adriana, because Adriana is in rehearsal for her big Mexico City Pride performance. Now, they were split up into two Sprinter vans, and that Sprinter van with Lisa, Larsa, Alexia, Marisol, I would have jumped out of that van because, of course, Lisa is going on and on about Lenny. Every time she is around these women, she finds a way to start crying about Lenny. And I really get the impression that she would take Lenny back if Lenny called her tomorrow and said, hey, I want you back. Let's, get back together. I think she would go back to him. I really do. And I also feel like Lisa being upset that the other women are getting tired of her, it shows you how immature she is. Because you have to realize that, unfortunately, when you go through things in life, people only have a short window to hear about your problems. Because whether you like it or not, everybody has their set of issues. So people can only deal with yours and hear about your problems for so long until they get tired of it. And that's why I feel like Lisa is just so immature, because she has the nerve to be upset with them that they don't want to hear her whining anymore. It's time for you to hire a therapist. Pay somebody to hear about your issues and work through them. But your friends are not your therapists. They don't want to hear this 24/7. And every time Lisa gets around them, whether they're on vacation, if they're out to dinner, out to lunch, having drinks, going out to a club, all she can talk about is Lenny. So now they all arrive at church. The church is beautiful. And Guerdy says that it's a surreal moment. Julia says that she's still apprehensive, but she's only there to support her friends because she does not want to be there. So now we see them all get down on their knees to pray. And I have to say, I did think that it was very touching seeing them all embrace each other at the church. And one thing about it, Miami, they might fight and go for the jugular, but when it really matters, they will embrace each other and really console each other and lift each other up. I thought it was so touching to hear Alexia say that she's praying for Guerdy and she hopes that Guerdy finds peace. Then seeing that Larsa and Guerdy shared a moment at the church, that was really touching, because earlier on this season, the way Larsa was so insensitive to Guerdy and the way she blabbed to everybody about Guerdy's breast cancer, it was nice to see her and Guerdy share a moment at the church. And even Guerdy was touched by it, because when they got back on the Sprinter van, Guerdy says that her and Larsa shared a bond that she'll never forget. I also thought it was sweet how Nicole checked up on Julia, and she was like, how do you feel after going to church? And she goes on to point out how Julia has not been inside of a church since her son's funeral. So now we see Lisa bringing up her situation yet again. She's like, do you guys think that prayers actually work? So they're all like, yes, like God hears your prayers. And then she says that she hopes that God hears them because of her situation. She's praying about her settlement. I said, Lisa, please, for the love of God, shut up. Lisa is determined to make everything about her. It can't always be about you and what you're going through. Other people are going through things too. You talked about this before you guys went into the church. Now you're talking about it afterwards. If you prayed, then let God hear your prayers and answer them. But now it's all this, oh my gosh, what do you guys think about that? And I'm just so worried. And like, it's enough already. I feel like Lisa is emotionally stunted because she behaves like she's 13 years old. So now the ladies are back at the hotel. They're getting ready for the gondola ride. And we see Lisa in her room. She's on the phone with her lawyer and they're discussing her settlement. So we hear her lawyer say on the other end that the settlement looks great, everybody's happy, and the most important thing is to make sure that the kids are good and that they're happy. So now he tells Lisa that Lenny and his team are waiting for her to sign off so that this can be all done. So Lisa goes on to say how nervous she is. She gets off the phone with her lawyer, and now we see her phone ringing a few minutes later, and we find out that it's Lenny. Now, for this phone conversation, we couldn't see anything or hear anything because Lenny said that he did not want this conversation to be recorded. But we do find out that it's about the settlement, and Lisa's unhappy because Lenny wants to add one more thing. And I was just like, at this point, I'm so tired of hearing about Lenny and this damn settlement and this damn divorce. I really don't care what Lenny put in the settlement. Just sign it. Again, my patience has run thin. I just don't care anymore. And Lisa has been so insufferable and so obnoxious that I don't have any sympathy. I really don't. And that might sound cold, but I'm being honest. So they're all on the Sprinter van on their way to the gondola ride. And Lisa, of course, has to bring up the recent developments that have happened between her and Lenny with this settlement. So Lisa's like, I'm just so pissed off right now because Lenny called me up a few minutes ago letting me know that he's putting a clause in the settlement where I can't have a man live with me. So they're all like, he did what? Larsa says that she needs to get her settlement money and cut ties with Lenny and keep it moving because obviously Lenny is still trying to control her. Now, I thought it was funny that Lisa brought up how upset she was by this clause, but then we find out that she signed the settlement papers. So I said, girl, why bring this up then? If you signed the papers, then why even talk about how upset you are by this clause? If you were so upset by this, you wouldn't have signed the papers, right? And the constant attention seeking. You have Lisa saying, I feel sick to my stomach right now. It's like I'm between a rock and a hard place. Girl, we don't care. You do realize that we do not care. We have all checked out. It's not about you. You have a woman who's battling cancer right now, and you're talking about you and this divorce that's been going on for like, what, a year and a half, 2 years now? It's enough already. So now they arrive to the dock to get on the gondola ride. Now the gondola ride looked like so much fun, and they had a full spread. They had some tacos and rice. They had tequila. I was here for it. I said, okay. I said, I love some Mexican food, so my mouth was watering. And their gondola driver was so sweet. He was excited for them to come on. And as the gondola starts moving, Lisa starts talking about herself yet again. I said, baby, you were talking about this on the Sprinter ride there. Now you guys are finally on the gondola trying to have a good time. Can you please shut up for the next hour? Please. I just don't understand how Lisa thinks that it is okay to dominate the conversation like this. It is unacceptable. And the fact that Lisa does not see how self-absorbed she's being. If I'm being honest, I don't care to see Lisa for next season. I don't. I think that her storyline has run its course. I'm tired. She's just not likable. So here go the theatrics. Lisa's going on about she feels weak. She feels like she failed. They're all trying to encourage her. And I said, one thing that I have learned, sometimes in life, you really have to learn how to encourage yourself. You cannot always depend on family and friends and other people being there to give you that support and that pat on the back. Is it nice? Yes. Do we all like to hear some encouragement? Yes, we do. We're all human, right? But there are times in life where you have to be your own best friend and say, you know what, girl, it's just me and you. We're going to get through this. We're not going to burden other people with our problems. And we're going to get through the other side. The fact that Lisa needs all this coddling at her big age is very sad to watch. And it's frustrating because they can only encourage you but so much. You cannot depend on people propping you up to feel good. And like I said before, people have their own stuff to deal with. They cannot always deal with your stuff. And that's okay. It doesn't make them bad people. And Lisa definitely has that mindset where it's like, because she's going through something so awful, she wants everybody else to feel her pain too. Misery loves company. Because how dare you try to dominate the conversation on this gondola ride? We're all here on a vacation trying to have fun and sightsee. We did not come here to talk about you and your issues the entire time. We do that already in Miami. We're not doing that here in Mexico. And I'll bet money that Lisa is going to run off Jody, because when she said, oh yeah, the other day I was crying about something that Lenny did to me and I was waiting for Jody to comfort me and he didn't. And then he told me, well, it feels like you're crying over Lenny, so that's why I didn't hug you. And they were all like, yeah, girl, you're going to run him away if you don't stop. I loved how Larsa at one point said, look, girl, it's been a year. Enough of all this crying. And then Adriana says, I understand, Lisa, but have a good cry and let's move on. Now, we see Lisa at this point hysterically crying, and it was just so funny because as she's sobbing, another boat passes them and they're all waving and saying hi to the boat, and then you have Lisa just crying. I thought it was a bit obnoxious at one point when Lisa got up and tried to help the gondola driver. And I said, girl, sit down before you fall into the water. And then we had to hear you crying and hollering about that. It was just so performative. It was annoying. You have these 6-inch platform heels on. You know good and damn well if you move the wrong way, sis, you'll be in that water. I don't even know why you got up in the first place. Just sit down. So they're all eating, drinking, trying to have some fun while Lisa's being a complete buzzkill. And we see Adriana's phone ringing, and it's Emilio Estefan calling her to see how she's doing and if she's excited for the performance tomorrow. Now, we know that she's working with Emilio Estefan. And can we talk about how, was it episode 11 or 12, when Adriana was in the studio with Emilio? And she had that really sexy outfit on and that really short skirt. And I was just like, now, Adriana, you know what you're doing wearing that outfit. I said, girl, you know good and damn well that Emilio has been married to Gloria Estefan for all those years. Don't even try it. And the way Emilio was all excited in that studio when she came in with that outfit, I said, So you're not slick. Emilio Estefan is worth like what? $600-700 million? I'm just saying. I said, you better hope Gloria isn't at the next studio session. So Adriana gets off the phone with Emilio, and now Lisa sits back down. And of course, she's talking more about her problems, and she says that she's afraid that Jody's going to run away because last week was so stressful for her. She snapped at him. And Larsa says, look, girl, if you do run Jody away, it's going to be your fault because who else is going to put up with your stuff? So, of course, Lisa is hypersensitive. She can't be told anything. And now she gets mad at Larsa. She's like, that's just so nasty to say. Why would you say that? You're a bully. And Larsa says, girl, it's the truth. Like, you are insufferable. And if you do run Jody away, nobody else is going to want you because you're doing too much. And I said, Larsa is telling the truth. I might not care for Larsa, but when Larsa is right, she's right. I said, Lisa, if you would just listen, stop being so immature, and get your head out of your ass, you would actually see that Larsa is trying to give you sound advice. Now, they've been on this gondola for a good 45 minutes at this point, and now they pass by these little homes on the river. So Adriana says, guys, let's just stop all this arguing because we're really privileged. We could be living like these people in these little homes. So Marisol says, well, I'm sure that they're very grateful. Now, in my opinion, I didn't think that they needed to point out how the people who live there aren't doing that well. Kiki is offended and she says, those homes remind me of how I was raised in Haiti, and these women don't even realize how rude they sound. Then Kiki goes on to say that those are real people who are trying to make ends meet. Now, mind you, as they're passing by those homes, we see a whole bunch of dogs. So obviously those are the pets of the people who own those homes. So we see Lisa say, oh my gosh, those dogs, I want to feed them. So Lisa's like, can I get like a piece of chicken? I want to throw them at the dogs. So they're all like, no, don't do that. Even their gondola driver, David, says, no, please don't do that. Leave those dogs alone. It's not your place. So Lisa, being the asshole that she is, she stands up and throws the food at the dogs. And they're all like, Lisa, sit down, please stop. And Alexia apologizes for Lisa's rude behavior. And I just said, Lisa, let's be honest. You don't give a damn about those dogs. That felt very performative. And it just felt like I'm trying to look like I'm a good person. That was just in such poor taste for you to get up and try to feed those dogs. And even the dogs were staring at you like, girl, sit your narrow behind down. So Lisa makes things worse and she says, it was just chicken and I can assure you that that's the best food they've ever had. They probably don't eat like that. And they're all like, girl, what? So just because you think that those people in those homes are poor, you think that they don't get fed well? Who are you to decide that? And I loved how Kiki clocked the ignorance. She said, that's very ignorant for Lisa to assume that those dogs don't get fed well because they're living in those conditions. Like, how dare you? Then she says, Lisa, please shut up because you don't even feed your own dogs. Your nannies do that. So Kiki calls Lisa out and she says, Lisa, that wasn't cool at all. So of course Lisa gets defensive because Lisa acts like a petulant child who can't be told when she's wrong. So now Lisa makes the grave mistake of standing up and yelling at Kiki. So Kiki says, girl, sit down. When you speak to me, talk to me with respect, because where I'm from, when you stand up, that means that you want to fight. And Lisa, here's where you effed around and found out. When you stood up again and said, okay, what are you going to do about it? When Kiki threw that juice box at you, I said, good. That's what you get. Because how dare you? You don't stand up in somebody's face when you're having an argument, because that does signal that you want to fight. Everybody knows that. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, everybody of every race and nationality knows that when you stand up like that, that is a signal that you do want to fight. You want to take things to another level. And then you had the audacity to turn into a perfect Karen when she threw that juice box at you. I said, how dare you? So you have Lisa playing Karen and she's like, oh my gosh, you threw a juice box at me? How dare you, Kiki? You assaulted me. I can't believe this. You assaulted me, Kiki. And I said, baby, if you don't sit your ass down, I was too done. I said, get Lisa off this show. She's just so aggravating. You sat up there and taunted her and stood up like you wanted to fight. Now she actually clocks you and now you want to say she assaulted you? No, she did not. You've been disrespectful this entire season and especially on this trip. Kiki says, look girl, it is what it is. I threw that juice box because where I'm from, you don't stand up in an argument because that signals that you want to fight. So now Larsa says, this isn't about Kiki or the dogs. This is about Lisa losing her mind in real time because of what's going on with her and Lenny. And I said, that's true, Larsa. I agree with that. But at the same time, Lisa is responsible for Lisa and her actions in her life. So if Lisa is having a meltdown, then she needs to get herself into a therapist's office immediately. And once again, I have to give Larsa Pippen her 10s because she said, I love you, Lisa, but you were dead ass wrong. So now you have Lisa screaming and she's like, how dare you, Larsa? If somebody threw something at you, you would want to pop off. So Larsa says, but girl, if I stand up in an argument, then that means that I'm prepared to fight. I said, let her know, Larsa, let her know. I'm glad that Larsa has the balls to say, Lisa, you're wrong, sit down and shut up. Because nobody else is saying this. So at this point, Lisa starts screaming even more. She's like, F all of you guys, F y'all, you guys are awful friends, and I had a rough day. I had to sign papers to end my marriage. I said, Girl, if you say that one more time, again, Lisa, you are not the first woman or the last woman to be going through a divorce. Please stop acting like you're the only one on earth who's ever gone through a divorce or a hard time, girl. You're not. Now, y'all know that I don't care for Alexia because she pisses me off. The way she's been treating Dr. Nicole all season, I can't stand it. But in this case, I loved it when she said, you know what, Lisa, F you too. If you want to say that to us, we can say the same thing to you. So now Lisa's like, you know what, shut up. I don't want to talk to y'all. I said, good. And baby, what do you expect them to say when you say F all of y'all? You think they're going to sit there and just take it? I don't understand Lisa's logic. So now we see all the women saying, you know what? We just came from church earlier. Let's all hold hands and pray. So now you have Lisa saying, I don't want to be a part of your prayer. Leave me alone. Leave me out of this. Don't talk to me. Larsa's like, girl, what are you, 2 years old? And I say, yes, Larsa, she is. Your friend is immature at her big age acting like this. As if this boat ride could not get any worse. They start seeing all these dead baby dolls hanging from trees, and they're all like, where are we? Can we please go back? Like, this is really creepy. Now, we all know that Julia lost her infant son 23 years ago. So at this point, Julia is crying. So we end this episode on a to be continued, and we open up episode 15 with them passing through the island of the dolls. Now, I get scared very easily. I don't play with demons or any of that stuff, right? So, had I seen these dead baby dolls hanging from trees, I would have told the gondola driver, take us back to the dock at once, because I would not be passing through there. I was creeped out just watching this scene. I was covering my eyes at one point because I was really freaked out. Now, why they stopped there and actually passed through the island of the dolls was beyond me. I was like, why do you guys even want to go out and see this? You had Marisol trying to find a bathroom. I said, I do not care how badly I had to pee. There is no way that we would be stopping with all these dead dolls hanging around and I'm trying to find a bathroom. That absolutely not. So now everybody's back on the gondola. They have moved past the island of the dolls, thank God. And just when you think that they might actually have a good time, things get worse. Guerdy has fallen ill and she's throwing up on the gondola. I was like, this has to be the gondola ride from hell. While Guerdy is vomiting, another gondola pulls up besides them with a whole entire mariachi band. So they're all playing the music. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, can you guys please stop? Our friend here is ill. Like, this is the last thing that she needs. The way I had tears streaming down my face because you couldn't make this up. Now they finally pull back up to the dock and they all get off that gondola ride. You have Lisa talking about, oh, has anybody seen my lip gloss? I think it fell out of my purse. I was like, girl, nobody cares about your lip gloss. Guerdy is throwing up. She's ill. Nobody cares about you and what you have going on. Like, just stop. It's really sad that Lisa cannot think about anybody but herself. That woman is the epitome of self-centered. Now, Guerdy was in really bad shape. It was so bad that they end up calling the ambulance. And we see the paramedics come. She's on a stretcher now. And Nicole is by her side. I think that Nicole is such a good friend. I love how she always has Guerdy's back. And it was really sweet that she was by her side. So they're in the back of the ambulance. Guerdy has Nicole call up Russell. She wants to talk to him. And I felt so bad for Guerdy. I said it's bad enough that a lot of these women don't care about her. But the fact that she gets sick on this trip, she's already dealing with breast cancer. I just said, can Guerdy get a break, please? I felt so sad for her. So now it's the next day, and it's the day of Adriana's big performance at the Mexico City Pride concert, and she's super excited. She's in glam, getting made up, and she says that this concert is like Beyonce level. I think 100,000 people are going to be there, so she really can't wait. And say what you want about Adriana, as messy as she can be, the fact that Miss Mamas has been asked to perform at a huge event with 100,000 people. That's a big deal. And she should be proud of herself. And I said, go ahead. Like, I'm here for Adriana, living her dreams, making money. I just really hope that Adriana flourishes because she deserves a win. She's been through a lot. And I told you guys, when I met Adriana at BravoCon, she was the absolute sweetest. Like, despite her being kind of messy on the show, she has a good heart. She was so nice to everybody who came up to her. She was happy to be there. And she kept expressing how grateful she was that people watched the show. So now we cut to everybody in their rooms getting all ready for the performance. Guerdy's back. She feels good. She says that the IV did her well. She feels like her old self again. And she's excited for today. The way I rolled my eyes so hard when they cut to Lisa in her room and she's like, I still can't believe that I got a juice box thrown at me yesterday. I was just trying to feed the dogs. You're nobody's victim. You brought that on yourself when you stood up yelling at Kiki. And also, the gondola driver told you, do not feed those dogs. That's not your place. They already get fed. They're good. Lisa cannot own up to anything. And I'm really praying that Kiki rips her a new one at this reunion because she tried it. So now everybody's in the lobby. They're all walking to the Sprinter van. And of course, Lisa is the last person to get on the van. I said, it doesn't matter where they are. Lisa is determined to always be the late one. And I was not here for Lisa's negative energy when she got on the van and Marisol made that joke saying, oh, where do you want to sit? Do you want to sit next to Kiki? And Lisa's like, look, I just want to have a good day today. It's like, girl, shut up. Like, just stop. So anyhow, they arrived to the concert. And when I tell you that it was packed, I mean, everybody was out. So anyhow, we see Kiki say, Lisa, I just want you to know that I don't hate you. So Lisa says, I know, but don't throw things at me. I said, Kiki, you're better than me because I would have cursed Lisa all the way out. Lisa, the only thing that should have come out of your mouth was, you know what, Kiki, don't even worry about it. Girl, I was the one who was in the wrong. I had no right getting in your face like that, standing up while we're trying to have a conversation. You acted like a complete jackass on that gondola. Period. End of story. You literally said to her, Kiki, what are you going to do about it? You had no right to stand up like that and act like you wanted to fight. I was too done. And again, it's that Karen jumping out where now you want to act like the black woman is the big bad wolf and she's the aggressor when you started this whole entire thing with your ignorance. The way I was screaming because Julia had made a sign for Adriana, and I said, now girl, how is Adriana your best friend and you don't even know how to spell her name right? So Adriana gets on stage, she's performing her song Fire, and Adriana looked good, honey. I said, come through. Now, I Googled Adriana's age. Is she really 58? Adriana looks amazing. I said, girl, come through. She did that. But she's on stage performing. She looks good. She sounds good. And it was such a touching moment when she came off the stage and they all were like, Adriana, you should be so proud of yourself. You did that. And I said, one thing that I love about Miami, I said it at the beginning of this recap. I love how these women know how to come together when it matters. Because the fact that a lot of these women have been at odds with Adriana for seasons, and to see them all hug her and support her, I love that. Potomac, y'all need to take notes because we will never see this kind of unity on Potomac, and it's sad. So Adriana thanks them again for supporting her. She's grateful for them. And then she says, I'm so excited for tonight because we're going to party. So now they're back in their hotel. Everybody's getting ready for the night. And now we see Alexia having some drinks. And I think it was her room, or maybe she was at the rooftop. But either way, she's there with the bartender having some drinks. And now we see Dr. Nicole and Lisa join her. So now at this point, Kiki joins them. She hugs everybody. And now when she walks over to Lisa, Lisa makes this really snide remark and she says, oh, you're not going to throw anything at me, are you? So Kiki is pissed. She says, Lisa, please shut up. I do not go around just throwing things at people. Please stop. So now Lisa plays victim again, and she's like, oh my gosh, Kiki, I was just joking. And I said, Lisa, you really have a problem taking ownership. Just drop it. Kiki has moved on, so why don't you let it go? And also, you're the one who's in the wrong in the first place. How dare you play victim? Now, mind you, Larsa walks in at this point, and she can sense that something went down between Lisa and Kiki, so she asks Kiki what happened. Kiki tells her, and Larsa says, bottom line, Lisa's in the wrong, and she needs to apologize to Kiki. I said, Larsa, come through again, because the way you are spitting straight facts. I said, is Larsa trying to win me over? Because it's actually working. So now we see Nicole walk over to Lisa and Alexia, and Nicole says, look, Lisa, Kiki does not appreciate you saying that you're throwing things at her. And now Alexia says, yeah, it's very passive aggressive. So now Lisa's like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. I was just joking. That's how I react to things. I just joke about things. And they're all like, no, girl, you're being passive aggressive and it's not cute. Now, mind you, Lisa, Nicole, and Alexia are sitting outside, and Larsa and Kiki are inside, and they're having a private conversation. So now we see Julia walk in while Kiki is still venting to Larsa. Kiki is going off, and of course Julia is eavesdropping. So Kiki says, I'm just so tired of Lisa. It's always about Lisa, and I can't take it anymore. We all have our issues. She goes on to add that Lisa is selfish, and how she's still pissed off when Lisa made that comment about those people who live in those houses by the river. She goes on to say that it was hurtful to hear that because she lived that life. I didn't just lay on my back, get effed by a plastic surgeon, and now boom, I have millions. Like, that's not my story. Now, mind you, Julia is still at the bar while Kiki is saying all this to Larsa, so she can hear everything. So now Julia walks out and she says, just so you know, Lisa, Kiki is in there talking about you, and she thinks that you're a spoiled, entitled girl. So of course Lisa is upset. She's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And I just said, but Lisa, it's the truth. And I thought it was comical when you said, if Kiki does not apologize to you, you won't talk to her. I said, you truly are delusional because you're the one who's in the wrong. Also, do you honestly think that Kiki gives a damn if you don't ever talk to her? You'd be doing her a favor because you're so irritating. Julia, it's clear that somebody put a battery in your back saying you need to start some mess this season or else you'll be off, because it just seems like this entire season you've been doing the most. Because I've always thought that Julia was boring and could be demoted, and it just feels like this season she's been very extra because she knows that her time on this show might be coming to a close if we don't get anything out of her. And it just feels like you being the bone collector and you're stirring up mess saying, oh yeah, girl, well, Kiki's over there talking about you. It just felt very messy. I said, okay, girl, I see you, Julia. I loved Guerdy's outfit. It was really sexy. I loved that look with the hands all wrapped around. That was very cute. It reminded me of Beyonce's looks on the Renaissance tour. But I was here for that. I said, come through, Guerdy. So the gang's all there, and now they all go downstairs to the club. So they're all having a good time. They're in the section. They're drinking champagne, dancing. And we have Lisa off to the side. She says that she's not in the mood. She's really upset. She doesn't want to be there. They're not friends. I said, Lisa, we're tired of your whining. Get off our screens. Do us all a favor and just leave. If you're so bothered, then just go. Go to your room, order some room service, go to bed. Nobody has time for you trying to drag the mood down because you feel a type of way over your piss poor actions. So now we have Julia walk over to Lisa, and she's relaying all the information about how the group is tired of her, and Lisa's getting even more upset. So Guerdy overhears this, and she's like, what is Julia doing right now? We're here to have a good time, celebrate Adriana. Why is Julia being messy and stirring the pot, making things worse? And I said, it's because Julia wants a storyline. Lisa pouting and going on about how they're not her friends and she wants to leave. I just said, oh my gosh, Somebody please take me out of my misery because I can't hear one more word of this. I can't. And I was upset how they all left the club when Lisa left. I'll be damned if I'm cutting my night short because Lisa is upset. So at this point, they all go back up to Alexia's room and Lisa says, let's have a powwow. Again, I would have cursed Lisa out because I would have said, there's no way that you're dictating the rest of the night because you're upset. That's not happening. You have acted like a complete baby this entire trip. You don't get to control how our night goes because you're upset about God knows what. So Dr. Nicole starts it off by saying that Lisa is hurt by the conversation that she had earlier with Julia. And now Julia says, no, I never said that. We're all tired of Lisa. And now Larsa jumps in and says, Lisa, I love you. You're my girl. You're my best friend. But I still stand by what I said. You were wrong and you owe Kiki an apology. So once again, Lisa cannot own up to anything. She says, I have to be on trial on Monday. I don't want to be on trial by my friends. I said, oh my gosh, girl, shut up. You're just so immature. Always the victim. Somebody's always doing something to you. You're always the one who's wronged. It's annoying. And Lisa's go-to move every time it's time for her to take accountability, she starts crying. So Larsa says, we love you, Lisa, but we've given you so many passes. So now Kiki says, Lisa, let me just tell you this. You don't know anything about me. I've been on my own since I was 15. I was kicked out of my house in the rain with a backpack. I've worked really hard to get where I am today, and nobody has ever asked me one question about me. Now, just a quick side note, when Kiki shared her story about her getting kicked out by her dad and her stepmom, I think that was either episode 12 when she walked in Miami Swim Week, that was heartbreaking. And I just don't understand what goes through a parent's head to do something so evil. And I really hope that Kiki doesn't even talk to them because that's just so cruel. How do you do that to your own child? So Kiki continues on by saying that she's a single mom raising 2 kids. No man is there to help her. And then she goes on to ask, do you even know my son's name? Do you know my daughter's name? Kiki goes on to say that she goes through a lot of stuff, but she's not the type to want to dump her issues on her friends. And I said, Kiki, you and I are the same. And another reason why I say to move in silence about all things, even your problems, because you'd be very surprised who's happy to hear that you have issues so that they can feel better about their own lives. People will use their problems to feel superior to you. Like, oh, okay. Oh, my life isn't that bad because she's going through that. Oh, couldn't be me. Glad it's not me. So another reason why it's best to keep your mouth shut. And I'm somebody where I refuse to give my enemy satisfaction. So you won't find out that I even had a problem until I'm over it. You get what I'm saying? I won't let anybody see me sweat. I'm going to still show up and look like $1 million, and I could be going through the worst tragedy of my life, and you would never know it. Case in point, you guys had no idea about my dad until after he had passed. I was coming on here like, hey guys, what's up? Looking good, smile on my face, and nobody knew anything. Again, I'm a big believer in there's really no point in sharing your problems because a lot of people are happy that you have problems, and then the other half don't care. The only people who know about my problems, my mama, siblings, therapist, the good Lord, and my journal. But for everybody else, everything is great. Everything is perfect. I'm good. Kiki goes on to say that Lisa's acting like she's going through the worst thing ever, and that's not the case. Going through a divorce is not life-threatening. I said, Kiki, you better say that again, please. Kiki goes on to say that Lisa and her kids are healthy, and that's the most important thing. But to Lisa, it's all about money, money, money. And let me tell you something. I know that it sounds cliche, but your health is the most important because if you do not have your health, you do not have anything. If you don't have your health, it doesn't matter if you're rich because you can't even enjoy your money. You can't even enjoy going out because your health is shot. So Kiki is absolutely correct to say baby, the most important thing is that you have your health. So instead of Lisa just owning up and saying, you know what, Kiki, you're right. I have not been a great friend to you. I haven't gotten to know you. It's been all about me, and I'm sorry for that. Lisa plays victim yet again. She says, you know what, I'm not going to say anything because I feel like if I say anything, it's going to be the wrong thing, so I'm going to be quiet. I was like, you know what, Lisa, you're somebody who you can't be told anything. This conversation would have been over. Kiki was getting more and more irate. She says, you know what, Lisa, what you said yesterday about those people in those homes and then saying that about the dogs, that really pissed me off because I was raised like that. So now Lisa says, that's not what I meant. And Kiki's like, girl, yes, it was. We watched the episode. You were very ignorant. You literally said that's probably the best food those dogs have ever eaten. You said that. So please do not lie now saying, oh, I didn't say that. You did. We caught you on camera, sis. So now Lisa starts yelling and she's like, you're twisting up my words. And it felt like I was watching Dorit because the ignorance just kept jumping out. Now, Lisa, here's where you effed around and found out. And when Kiki ate you right on up, I said, that's good for your ass because how dare you? Lisa screams out, look, Kiki, I can't fix your childhood trauma. Kiki said, what the F did you say to me? And Lisa's like, yeah, I said it. I can't fix your trauma. Baby, Kiki did not hold back. She says, girl, that's what you say to me after I opened up to you about my life? Really? You want to play that? This is exactly why I called you selfish and entitled, and what's happening between you and Lenny is your karma. We end the episode with everybody stunned. Of course, Lisa's playing victim, and Kiki walks out saying karma's a bitch. I said, I did not feel any ways about what Kiki said to Lisa, because Lisa has been a complete Karen and a complete selfish asshole for the last 15 episodes. The fact that you would twist your mouth to say, I can't fix your childhood trauma, instead of saying, Kiki, thank you for sharing that with me. And you're right. I have not been a good friend to you. I have been self-absorbed. And I do need to get to know you better and not make every conversation about me. The fact that you couldn't be woman enough to own up to the fact that you have been selfish and wrong. You threw a low blow saying, I can't fix your childhood pain. I'm glad that Kiki ripped you a new asshole because you deserved it. Lisa, you need to get it together. I hope that you really do some self-reflecting because you have made yourself look incredibly bad. But y'all, that was my recap. I'm going to try and finish out the rest of this season, but please believe I've just been busy, y'all. Please believe me when I say that I've been busier than I've ever been. All great things happening, but it's just tough trying to manage all these shows at the same time and then trying to go live and then having a social life. You know what I'm saying? So again, I had to hop on here and give you guys Miami because I've been promising you guys for so long. But thank you for your patience. I appreciate y'all. And I'm going to do my best to finish out the remainder of this season. But guys, again, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.